morning to you. How are you doing this morning? Today is Friday, the 15th day of August 2025, and it's the end of the week. I'm always excited for the end of the week, and I'm sure you are as well. Lillian, how are you this morning?
I am splendid. I am okay. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How do you feel about the weekend? Are you as excited as I am?
I am super excited. I cannot wait to rest, go to church, do me.
Exactly.
Because weekend is about me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is Signature Morning here on Signature TV. And I am Uchenna Chindi Oluoha.
And I am Lillian Wali.
Coming up next is our newspaper headlines and review. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Our newspaper headlines this morning will be starting with the Vanguard newspaper. And on the Vanguard we have Ibom Air Fracas, airline operators lift live ban on Airmanson.
And on Vanguard 2, you will find NLC issue 7-day strike notice over pension and SITF funds. And that is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper.
How modern life is rendering men infertile, with riders' sperm counts dropped 62.3% worldwide over 50 years, testosterone levels also dropping, plastics, environmental toxins waging war on male fertility, human race not winning infertility battle despite advancements, lifestyle, climate change are major drivers, crucial role of sperm DNA fragmentation, DFI, and there is hope in advanced reproductive treatment. You can see that on page 14.
And also on democracy, don't undermine opposition parties. SMBLF cautions APC, INEC. And also on the Vanguard newspaper, Boko Haram says US okays $346 million arms sale to Nigeria. And that also you're going to find on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper.
Economy now stable under Tinubu, says Okonjo-Iweala, and by elections, tension as INEC delivers sensitive materials.
Now moving ahead to Daily Trust, it says PDP kicks as Canadian court designates party, APC terrorist UGS. That you're going to find on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Northern states pay poor pension on pages 3, 4, and 5.
Alleged 189 billion naira fraud, what I told EFCC interrogators. And that Tambuwal says on Daily Trust newspaper.
DSS grills Mahmuda terrorist group's leader, and I washed toilets, bathrooms in Mushin to survive. This is from the Falcons captain.
And by elections, APC, PDP, ADC in show of strength tomorrow.
All right, now over to the Punch newspaper. We have pension funds strike countdown begins as PENCOM, Labour disagree. PENCOM reacts. NSITF silence as Labour issues 7-day strike notice over alleged 40% pension fund diversion on page 21.
And FG settles 2 trillion naira contractor bills, plans 2025 capital budget spending on page 22 of the Punch newspaper.
PDP inaugurates 44-member zoning committee, demands Wike's total loyalty.
And police crush armed robber operating from Lagos refuse dump. And by elections, INEC deploys poll materials at parties and campaigns that you're going to find on page 29.
All right, now to the Daily Times newspaper. Tinubu has traveled 200 out of 806 days in office. Obi raises alarm. You can find that on page 2.
And 2027, agitation for single tenure unconstitutional, unacceptable, says Ohaneze. And that is on page 15 of the Daily Times newspaper.
National safety not negotiable, Tunji Ojo tells newly decorated fire chief.
No region will be shut out of the development drive, FG assures, and diaspora Nigerians bring capital, expertise, global influence, Dabiri Erewa says, and that is on page 12 of the Daily Times newspaper.
All right, 2027 agitation for single tenure unconstitutional, unacceptable. This is from Ohaneze. And finally, on the Daily Times, FG partners to launch $60 billion gas-powered high-speed rail on page 15.
And moving over to Daily Sun newspaper, which is the voice of the nation, Okonjo-Iweala says Tinubu has stabilized the economy, praises initiative at empowering women, and that you are going to find on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper.
2027 PDP plots smart zoning to displace APC. We know that power sharing will make or mar our party. This is from the acting national chairman. Opposition party inaugurates 44-man panel on sharing formula.
And coming from Enugu, Governor Mba commissions 100 mass transit CNG buses terminals. And OAU student commits suicide for repeating class twice. That you are going to find on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper.
Southeast has no excuse to lack relevance, respect in Nigeria, says Okorie, and double tragedy. Father of slain Kogi photojournalist slumps dies.
And moving over to the Matrix newspaper, FG reaffirms commitment to timely completion of Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, and that is on page 9.
Atiku to opposition, unite or risk, one party Nigeria.
Bandit leader Tuji Bello yet to surrender the HQ, and that you're going to find on page 9 of the Matrix newspaper.
Furore over Tinubu's foreign trips with riders Obi to Tinubu. You're not a tourist, you're leading a troubled nation. You don't understand link between foreign travels, investments, says Omokri on page 3.
And FG targets 7% annual GDP growth driven by private investment and others. That you're going to find on page 3.
All right, and that is it for our newspaper headlines this morning. And over to our review, as always, we have our in-house reviewer in the studio, Chris Maduka. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Uche. Good morning, Lillian.
Good morning, Chris.
Thank you, and good morning, the beautiful people watching us from anywhere from the world. We don't even know whether some people in the outer space are watching us too.
I'm sure they are.
It might be so possible. In digital age, anything is possible. Okay, so
our headlines.
Yes. We're here again. Vanguard, where we started. Ibon Air, the ban on comfort immersing has been lifted. And, you know, when the issue started, we were like, why this hurry? The way that case was handled, we were like, if all Nigerian situations are handled that way, we will be getting somewhere. But you also find out that there's an Igbo proverb that says, Banu Banu Gujeji, if you are in a hurry to harvest a yam that by the grace of God has done well, you want to just stand up to harvest it. The Igbo proverb of bone and silence said, you must kneel down to get out the tail of that yam from the earth, because in effort to pull it up, the tail will cut inside the earth. Now they have hurried to condemn Comfort Immersing. They've hurried to bundle her out, throw her, tore her into pieces, expose her naked to the world. We're in a hurry to expose that video to the world in a digital age, hurry to convict her, put her in jail in Kirikiri. And just now, they have ordered, the Minister of Aviation has ordered that they withdraw all criminal charges, and they have withdrawn the life ban they hurriedly put on her. They have also opened her up as a star. She's getting a tour to Houston with $100,000 as allowance, BTA, by a company in Nigeria. I don't know where the company is. A lot of other people are approaching her for ambassadorial job of, so if they did it, we can did it. If a Kwan can stop a moving aircraft in the Nigerian International Airport and then offered voluntarily to become an aviation ambassador.
Yes.
And all her sins were forgiven. Some people said, the woman you treated like trash, tore her into pieces, and they made her a model of a breastfeeding show in 2025, few days after the world celebrated breastfeeding, and exposed that she has a good bank for breast milk. And the world laughed, some condemned, and now they are tracing their steps. You know, when you use mallet to kill an ant, if you miss the ant, the mallet will not miss your legs. That is what Nigeria is battling with. And it's still to shame. Let's move on.
We're seeing that NLC has issued 7-day strike notice over pension.
I couldn't have forgotten that. NLC strike notice, and they were grateful enough to give 7 days notice. Uche and Lillian, what do you think we have? You're all looking at me as if I'm NLC. You should have an opinion too. I'm saying it's only in Nigeria that a strong labor group like NLC will give 7 days ultimatum. It will expire, and the only thing left to them is, let's see whether you have the balls, the gut enough to go on strike.
Yeah.
You will be here, and they know when two elephants are fighting, the grass always suffer. We as the common people, we always be on the side of NLC. So we are not giving notice to the federal government. The only people that give notice of strike is Nigerian Labour Congress. And evidently they might have sympathy from TUC and other labor groups, because this is the umbrella body until government tore them into pieces. But they still stand strong. Now, it's only in Nigeria this 7 days notice will expire, the labor will still go on strike. And we are saying it is an aberration. If Nigeria really valued the labor and the labor force and the people who deliver these labor services, they should have begun discussion yesterday. Tension as INEC delivers some whatever they are delivering.
Materials.
And why should there be tension? Why should there be tension? That's the question. If INEC is clean and they are doing their job, why the tension? Is Nigeria manufacturing elections or democracy? We are practicing like every other thing of the world. There's nothing we, as even where we learned from. Have we ever learned that whatever INEC is called in US or UK, there's tension? You don't even identify them. You only know where they put signs that is pulling boots. You walk in with your card, do your voting, and you continue your job. Some people who are in essential duty, they even make it that you can vote in your office, and the thing is reading real time. Nigeria we just cornered ourselves by few elites, telling ourselves lies in 2025, claiming that we are giant or ant or whatever, I don't know what we think we are, of Africa. And they will keep making our nation not to develop because of greed, selfishness, and corruption. Otherwise, why should in 2025 INEC will be moving? You remember, this moving of things happened with telecom. They moved the ladder every day until these days it has become digital. When it was the days of Nitel, they didn't see it coming until somebody took the bull by the horn and they stopped it. Even in electricity or utility, they used to carry ladder about until somebody took also the decision
Why is INEC difficult for us to deal with if we are sincere? Why should they carry materials about? For where? Last 2003 election, Nigeria spent 319 billion to organize a failed election. We started again moving materials. Some of these materials very soon you will see in viral video where they are dumped, or where some people will snatch it, tear them into pieces, set them on fire, destroy people's, because the INEC doesn't even own anything. They go and set up their polling booths in primary schools built by communities, and when there is tension they carry with them, they will destroy the primary schools. So it's better INEC carry their tension and start pulling their INEC polling booths, and like you have bus stops, you have INEC bus stop. So anything there, like some people say the police stations and Okunuka bus stop, it's not me. So they will put there and they can name it INEC Tension Center. So people go there with their tension. Let them not carry their juju to go spoil some quiet villagers who have their primary schools, because the tension that INEC carry about can destroy people that are peaceful. So if INEC has tension, let them go and put it on high tension so that it supply us light.
I mean, if 2025 is like this, how is 2027 going to be?
That is it. If funefune diotua, funefuna yadea. Thank you, Lillian, for that question.
Okay.
I'm as worried as you are. But then they say modern life versus men.
Yes.
Rendering men
Infertile.
Oh, well, for the Gen Zs who have a future of being men, we are expired.
No, you're not.
Some of them, you know what I mean by, I will tell you the story of expired. I have a friend, he was driving his car, he's a Christian father like me. He had a very old car as a retiree. He's trying to patch up. He came and the police stopped him and said, bring your documents. You know, they said, your paper has expired. And he said, okay. He said, what else do you want? After everything, the man looked at them. He said, do you see this vehicle? Does it look like he has not expired? They said, the vehicle is old. He said, it's expired. The papers expired. Even the man who is driving the car is expired. So you can take us to anywhere you put expiring drugs. Keep us there and leave me alone, because if you keep me here for as long as you want to keep me, you are spoiling market for yourself, because you are dealing with expired person. Why am I saying? For this modern life and what is dealing with, some of our people are told, some young men and women, the way they deal with technology. There are warnings that they don't use it in filling station. They say nothing happened. Don't sleep with it. Don't put it on where it's charging. When the power is low, don't use it. It spoils your brain. It has radiation. All those things now story. When some of us who read it and say, they say, forget it, you expired. But now the warning has come. Very soon, what happened to the expired people like us will start happening to Gen Zs. Let them know that what
aside gadgets, they also made mention of environmental toxins.
A lot of things. A lot of things we do these days is expired. I hope some fine ladies like you won't get expired soon or be affected by modern life. So that it's don't undermine opposition. We have, even if it's only Vanguard had a lot. We don't undermine opposition. APC and INEC were told. APC, the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party at the center, and the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission. People are saying, do not undermine opposition. There is no smoke without fire. It may have mean that by your body language, directly or indirectly, it's not me that said it's Vanguard. So if it's not true, like, you know, there's some people who try to hack into your phone, you want to log into your system using another system. The online thing, the internet will tell you, if it's not you that's trying to log, don't bother. But if it's you that's trying to log, just click yes. No, you know, that kind of thing. So if APC and INEC are sure they're not undermining opposition, they shouldn't bother about what Vanguard said. Because it's not me. But if they undermine them, they should look at it though, because...
All right, so we're seeing that Okonjo-Iweala is saying that economy is now stable under Tinubu, and he's also telling him as well to provide safety net for Nigerians, you know, to help them with the reforms that he's making and the subsidy cuts and the likes.
Okonjo-Iweala is somebody, an economist of repute, and at the point she speaks, as she's speaking or she spoke. I don't know where the meeting held, and we only see headlines, so we are reviewing headlines. If Okonjo-Iweala said yes, it's stable. What is happening to the economy? Is stable. Do you have any fight in the economy? What we have is hunger and hardship and high cost of the economy that is stable. So stable at whose cost? Yeah. It's stable for those who can afford it. If I earn 29 million naira a month, this economy is stable.
Of course.
If I earn big money and I earn in dollars and I convert, remember that $1 is 1,700. What you used to buy a Peugeot 504 vehicle in Nigeria cannot buy you a loaf of bread today. Because a loaf of bread from where I'm operating from is 2,500. That Marco Polo bread. Some are 6,000 bread. That means that's $1. So it's stable for Okonjo-Iweala and her likes. She earns money in dollars at WTO. She comes to Nigeria, she won't notice what we are seeing. Try and stay in Nigeria, work for 2 months, earn naira, spend it in Ogbete market, buy ewa, agbado, and all those things. Buy them in cups or imudu. Then, if you come back, and then Okonjo-Iweala met our president at Aso Rock, and the economy is stable. Let her come down to her state in Abia State. Go to Ariara. Talk to the women who are selling ugu. And she will now have first hand of how stable the economy is. It's stable. Nobody is fighting. What is not stable is our security. And the worms who moil away in our stomachs, they are not stable. The worms are always working. So many things are stable in Nigeria, and so many are not. After all, people are fighting light energy. It's stable, but they say the price at which it comes is unstable. So light comes, but before you can afford, so many things are stable. That is the point they're talking about, and they can always talk at that point.
At
Nobody
that
blames
level.
them. Yeah. So
yes.
Economy is stable from it, but we under the ground know that
It's not
stable.
According to real one, I say this place is slippery.
Yes. Now we are seeing Tinubu is now a tourist, according to Obi. He says Tinubu has traveled 200 out of 806 days in office. President now tourist, always traveling.
Daily times.
Yes.
Our Tinubu has traveled 200 days out of 806 days in office. Do the mathematics. That means 806 days. At the point we have 702 days, we are exactly half the 4 years of the man in office. Now that's 702 years. If you remove 702 days, remove it from 806, you will need the extra. You now enter the second half of the 4 years. But out of that, 200 days have been spent, according to Daily Times, traveling. So, if you ask me, from all indication, if I want to review, we have a traveling,
a tourist,
a traveling president, a visiting president. You know that when I was working there, when we were doing, they say visiting long distance fathers, people who father their houses, working in Abuja. They have a family in my village, probably in one village in Nike or Ababa, and they have their family. They stay in UK, working there at night, trying to. That's the kind of president we have. The president who is the distant president, and the oppositions will talk about it, and people will say, somebody like Omokri, who is on the side of the president, has told Obi quickly. He didn't even wait for Aso Rock to reply that Obi does not understand what a traveling president can attract to economy. Omokri, from what I know, is operating from outside Nigeria. And I don't know what he does for a living. Because he's one of the most useless human beings I've ever seen in my life. Omokri is useless. He doesn't have a job. All what he has is he has cholera of the mouth, diarrhea. And he is looking for who will talk. He should have allowed those who are paid to. Because one day, Omokri will return to Nigeria. All these things he is doing, thinking he's not safe.
because he can hang somewhere and talk. Let him come to Nigeria, stay here. When somebody talk, he can reply. Because wherever he's operating from, the view is not clearer. So I pity him. That's okay, because we cannot live without saying congratulations to Governor Peter Mba,
Yes.
who has succeeded in launching. I learned that within the week were mass events of launching of one thing or another, opening of roads, but the most significant one was 100 CNG powered vehicles that are put into mass transit. By the way, some people are saying that will put them out of the market. And we are trying to say Governor Bosch should come and explain to the people why, because when itu pun kita api, without coming to say, kita, this is api. If you remove flare from a dog, you must show the dog that you are just helping the dog. Otherwise, the dog will bite you and think you pinched the dog.
Yes.
That's what some of our governors with those serious, ambitious projects should be doing with the masses. Because if they are sacrificing and you are not explaining, they will think you are not doing the right thing. So congratulations to Enugu people, the Coast City people. You are not going to ride on CNG buses. But let it be known that even the Okada, the KKs, and the small buses and the ply, they have their roots and know the land is green and big enough for everybody.
Yeah.
You shouldn't quarrel. That's it. I'm not paid by Governor But to say this, so they should come also to let's talk.
Yes.
And they can talk on this desk, telling the people.
God,
so we invite them to come. You can invite them to come.
Yes, of
God
course.
bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria for those who deserve to be
Blessed. And we have come to the end of our newspaper headlines and review. Thank you so much, Chris Maduka. As usual, we really, really love your energy.
Thank you.
Thank you for the insight. So we are going on a short break, and when we return, the morning show continues.